I like what's hip, happening, and trending. I'm always checking it out. Listen, have you heard about this new woman Squirtle?
Hail Hydra.
Hello, everyone. WCD
No,
Gaming
they don't need
here.
that. They don't care.
Yes, they do. They care.
They're only listening to hear my sexy voice anyway.
No, it's
Nope.
not because of that. No.
Um,
Basically,
actually,
let me explain what the video is. Okay, so basically, if for those of you who didn't read the title, Zoo Tycoon, the page, put up a poll. This is the official Zoo Tycoon page, as of now, asking what would people be interested in a new Zoo Tycoon for the PC. Now, for those of you who haven't played Zoo Tycoon, basically, it's a game that came out in the late 90s and again in the mid-2000s. Basically, you can make your own zoo.
You're an uncultured swine if you haven't played it.
Yes, basically you make your own
actually
zoos.
released in 2001, 2000-ish.
Okay, well, it was around that. But the point is, you can make your own zoo, and it had a lot of following. Basically, a lot of the members of this group.
It
Myself.
was almost a cult following, actually.
Yes, myself, Nerd Guy, Dinorecchris,
That's where we all met,
Nick.
actually. You can thank that game.
Yeah, so we met on a
Actually,
forum
mod
called.
for Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah, he mods, he does modeling and all that.
I do skinning, which basically you design the skins and stuff.
As
Yeah, I
out,
worked on-
you keep interrupting me. Basically, we all met on this forum
What?
called Zoo Tycoon Volcano, which was a website where people used to post their mods and stuff like that for Zoo Tycoon 2. I used to do mods for Zoo Tycoon 1. I used to make Pokemon and put them in the game. So basically, we're talking about Zoo Tycoon and what we would expect if they were to make a new one. Now, they haven't officially said they're going to make a new one. However, they're trying to see if people would be interested in it. Now, recently there was
That's interested, so don't go
They're
like
toying with
raging
the
because
idea.
nothing ever happens.
Yes.
Toying with the idea.
Yes, because basically, they did come up with a version for the Xbox, and while I haven't really played it, I've heard it's very, very limiting.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun
from what
for
I've
about
heard.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Like, from what I've seen, it looks like you just plop down the exhibits. Like, you don't design them, really. You just plop them down.
Yeah, and then there's so many, like, of the same, like, there's so many lions and so many bears and tigers and
It's pretty
I
much
got
your...
that
It
backwards,
like
I don't
the DS
care.
games with a lot more restrictions. I've played the DS games and they were a lot restrictive.
I haven't played
for
the
the Xbox, and it's a lot. But what I heard is a lot more restricting.
Yeah, so, like, if they were to do this, I would want it to be, like, similar to Zoo Tycoon 2 in a sense, where they, you can pretty much design the exhibits any way you want to, as long as the animal is, happy or whatnot. Even then, you didn't really have to, unless you just want to hear doo-doo-doo-doo-doo repeatedly, the sound where, something's going on.
Not really.
So clunky.
Yeah.
One thing-
I'm talking about Zoo Tycoon while playing 7 days, but go on.
You're supposed to be playing Zoo Tycoon while talking about Zoo Tycoon. God damn it, nerd guy. Even though I'm not even playing. Yeah. I mean, even then, like, in Zoo Tycoon 1, like, you were required to, like, put a certain amount of stuff in an exhibit compared to the second one.
Yeah, the animals were a lot more.
Like,
It was
you
also
had to
a
have
lot
a
more
certain number
business
of each
focused.
tree.
Yeah, like,
Stuff
depending on the size of the exhibit, like, if you had, like, okay, a certain
Say I
size...
had a square tire.
Yeah, like, this X animal needed 100 trees, 12 rocks, and a certain amount of water blocks.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I mean, I liked having some of the stuff, like, I liked it telling you what it needed. I kind of preferred Zoo Tycoon's 2 version, where it just kind of needed to have the base essentials, kind of like a real zoo.
Basically just need the buying color to be that what it wants, and it'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because if you were even off by a few blocks, like, the animals in Zoo Tycoon 1 would get pissed off easily.
Yeah, I thought it was a little restrictive. Personally.
Yeah, and
I preferred the second one.
And I hated using animals that, like, required, like, hills and stuff, like the bighorn sheep and stuff.
It looked so ugly.
Yeah, it looked retarded. It looked retarded.
But then you got, like, one of those flat ones is like, okay, maybe I want to put hills in it, and then you can't because then they'll get ticked off.
Yeah. Like,
whereas the second one, you could design a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in Zoo Tycoon 1, you couldn't, like, mix animals together as easily. Like, in the second one, like, you could...
The only ones you can mix was the zebra and Thompson Gazelle, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, like, in this one...
Yeah,
Like,
that
you
was
could-
like
you
the
could-
only ideal match.
And the second one, you could put like all the African herbivores together, and they would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
You could
doing
have an
that.
African safari easily.
I even stuck
Yeah.
tigers and cheetahs.
But we were discussing before we started recording. We discussed a couple ideas for what would be interesting to see in the new one.
Obviously, updated
One-
graphics. Because okay,
Well,
to
yeah.
be honest, granted they were limited at the time, I would imagine, but like for mods like Radical Remake, the animals need to look less cartoony. Let's be honest here.
Well,
Yeah.
the
And they
thing
should look
is,
realistic.
they're kind of going for that look, and I noticed in the Facebook comments on that poll, a lot of people suggested going with the Xbox graphics, which were a little bit more highly detailed, but they still were cartoony, and that's what I think a lot of people liked. Was they liked it being a little bit cartoony. I could deal with it if it was cartoony, as long
Look-
as it wasn't too much like Happy Tree Friends cartoony.
Like I don't want to see like a zebra
That
with
was
a.
a horrible
I don't want
example.
to. I don't want to see like a zebra with like a smile. You know, I don't want to see these
Yeah,
animals have like
no,
human
no.
expressions
Also,
on.
make the rigs a lot better. I hate the rigs in Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah.
Also,
And-
they need the rigs a lot.
the-
I
Maybe
hate
explain
it.
what rigs are for people who don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But rigs are basically what is used to make the model of the animal to move for
Yes.
animations and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, think bones
Which
in a skeleton.
goes into the conversation very easily. Would they definitely need to continue modding community, because that's what keeps these games alive
Isn't
even
it still
until
owned
today.
by Microsoft though?
It's still owned
Yes,
by
it's still owned.
Microsoft,
Well-
but the original group, Blue Fang.
Blue Fang.
Yeah,
It's
they,
actually even
They actually had a tool, didn't they, for the first game?
APE.
Yeah, I heard that they actually had a tool for that.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
you can download that. That's how I made the Pokemon things for ZT1. But like Blue Fang isn't a thing anymore, so that's the
Yeah,
thing.
Blue
Yeah.
Fang shut their doors in 2011.
Yeah. So
And we all know how Microsoft is about modding.
yeah, which the thing I just hope I just feel like they should still make it easy to like even with ZT2 like you
Well,
wouldn't.
no, remember ZT2? I mean, yeah, it was easy early on, but especially EA, Extinct Animals.
Actually,
and-
EA has been broken. It's actually
Well,
been
yeah,
fixed. We
but
can
it
now
took a
edit them
while,
out
and
because of,
we had to
Dinosaur
kind of
Man.
manually break our way into it. Whereas, the earlier ones, it was pretty easy to mod. Whereas EA and Marine Mania, those two, you actually, it
So,
wasn't
yeah.
easy to get them right. It was Marine Mania was the other one, right?
Yeah, that's for both versions too. They kept the names the same for the expansions.
Yeah, for
Zoo
the
Tycoon, Marine Mania,
in the second
a lot
game,
of them
it was
were
hard to get.
BFBs. Were BFB instead of NIF, which for those who never messed with modding, NIF is the model format that they originally used. That we could edit a whole lot easier with BFB. They weren't
Yeah.
as easily to access. You
yeah,
actually
and
had
it
to go
was-
to a hex editor until
and-
recently.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Although they recently came up with some new. I mean, this is kind of going back to Zoo Tycoon 2, but they didn't. MMM or is it M Evolve now? Didn't they come up with a way to actually add new animations?
Hendrix,
Yeah,
just
for Doris, wasn't it?
like Hendrix, it was Hendrix, M3, there, Jagged Fang. There
Yeah,
it
these,
was.
these are mods.
And of course,
by the
I'm
way,
working-
for the community.
Yeah. If you don't know, I'll link ZTV below because most of the members I believe are still kind of there. But
yeah,
like,
although I think the round table
Actually,
is the other
the round
popular
table-
one,
the round
isn't it?
table is-
ZTV's
that's pretty
kind of
much-
turned away from Zoo Tycoon for now.
well, yeah. I mean, like people like Dragon God and Zua. I know they still dabble in it when they can. But like,
Those are admins on.
oh,
the site.
ZTV. Yeah. Yeah. It
I
used
feel
to be a
that-
modding site, but now they're more just like general gaming and like kind of the people that are still around. We just like hang out and make
Yeah,
stupid.
there's.
We
not
just
too
make
many of
stupid
them now.
jokes. Yeah. I feel though if they do reintroduce make a Zoo Tycoon 3 for the PC, I believe
Yeah,
it
that
would
might
it
bring
would
some life back.
it would bring some life back definitely, especially if the modding if they definitely allow modding.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
think ZTP would be recipient of the new thing. It'd most likely be either TRT or Feral, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, ZTV would bring some people back, especially ones that remembered it as being one of the
Yes,
places
but,
to get
yeah.
higher quality
And it
stuff.
would-
They'd probably come back looking at least, and that would bring more.
Yeah, I feel It would depend
think
on what
it's here-
direction Zoo Tycoon Volcano would want to go into. Like again, it's all up to Zoo, I guess, and all the admins and stuff like that. But like, say ZTP3 came out tomorrow, and they're like, okay, we want to get back into modding.
Just
Let's
randomly, it's actually been in development this whole time.
yeah, like just decide, okay, let's reopen like all the modding sections and all like that, and we'll re-put all our downloads
Well, actually,
there.
all the
Still
mods
there,
are
aren't
being
they?
posted.
The all the downloads for the mods and stuff have been moved.
They're all at
Oh,
Design
they
Center.
have?
Yeah,
They're
all
all
of them are
Design
gone.
Center.
Oh.
It's linked though. You can find them like through
Yeah, you
ZTV,
have to go
but
to
like
Hideout.
What
which
about
has
the
been
ones
shut
that
down.
I helped move from Calder Unlimited? Are those still there?
I don't even
They're
know.
over at Design Center.
Okay, yeah. By the way, Calder Unlimited, just quick thing on that. That
It was
was
the first problem.
back when
It
the
was the first.
community was bigger. There was another site called Calder Unlimited. It was the first one I joined, but there's hackings and stuff, and then people started posting gore, so we
Sprouted from
moved some of those
CDP.
downloads. There was a lot of community based on like just the downloads. Like that's what people would come for, and they kind of revered them, almost, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Like there would be fights over download slow, like someone hosting them on their site, and they
well, I mean, think about like Cretaceous Calamity, and I know if anyone from CTV sees that,
that was
anyone
the
who
biggest,
that was probably one of the biggest like
that
problems because
wasn't probably it was the biggest plan UXP that actually had groundwork done, but then it got leaked.
yeah,
Why
by their
was
own
it-
members. That was King Hoopla, I believe.
Yeah, no, King Hoopa wasn't it something squid or something like that?
I forget, but the point is, if
Spinosaurus, yeah, I mean, not Spinosaurus, Spinal 1 or Sunconia.
it was probably Sun Conure, but yeah, Sun Conure.
Clearly, Sun Kanyu's to blame for everything.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Anyway, for those of you who don't
Yeah,
know
it
what Cretaceous Calamity is, it was a fan-made expansion for
We're
basically
supposed to be. It was
it had
actually.
ton of dinosaurs and prehistoric animals in it that was really, really everyone was like expecting to see and excited for, but like they kept pushing it off because of the leaking of it.
There's actually
Yeah,
only been
people-
2 animals that was
doc-
really officially
and
released. It was
people
like
would
a
go up to him and
Albertosaurus
complain
and
like,
Spinosaurus.
"Hey,
You keep talking over each other.
There's actually
Yeah,
only 2
people-
animals that are officially released: the Albertosaurus and that Spinosaurus that was released for Cretaceous Calamity.
Yeah.
Oh, they released a Spinosaurus? Someone send me a link to that, by the way. I have the
go to Design
Christmas
Center.
pack, which is on the Nexus, but
Oh.
yeah, because they
I
actually
think it's on the
recently
Design Center.
started.
Yeah, they moved a
they
lot of stuff
started
to the Nexus
developing
site.
Cretaceous Calamity again, so.
Yeah, because didn't they have that the special Christmas thing for like
Yeah.
Albertosaurus or whatever?
Yeah, and they
There's
they also
Albertosaurus.
figured out a way to extend the size of the map for.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
Maybe
I
extra
added
large
that.
map.
I've been using the extra large map as of recently.
So have
Oh,
I.
That's
God.
useful.
I
So have
pretty
I.
much took no chance when I heard about that.
But
Yeah, no one wants to go back to the original. No one wants to go to that.
no,
one.
I mean the thing is like the other thing. The problem with an extra large map is that I mean, granted, I don't have all the expansion packs. I'm missing African Adventures and Marine Marina. Like you can only do so much with like guest stuff and buildings. Like you can only put the same building so many times.
Well, see, my problem was I did a lot. Like my exhibits were always large, and I used to like doing like tours and stuff. Like my exhibits
Oh,
wouldn't
the
just be
Jeeps.
like say only zebra. I used to do a lot of mixed exhibits, and I used to put the Jeep trails through them or sky trams. So having that large map means I can actually do that.
The problem was for me is that I used to like doing a lot of themed exhibits where like let's say I'd have like a carnivore zoo where only the zoo would concentrate on carnivores.
Yeah,
I'd have a
I
bunch
did
of
that too.
So like I'd have an individual exhibit for each species or whatever. So
Yeah,
I was, like,
sometimes I
doing
did
that.
Although
Um,
I used to do a lot of wildlife park
Yeah.
sort of things.
yeah,
in there
and
too.
and as I was complaining earlier, like I always hated like the guest and staff AI because like half the time they weren't
Oh,
doing what
God.
they were supposed to.
oh.
That'd be why I just constantly would like hire 50.
There's not enough benches. There's a bench in front of you.
Hire 50 staff members, just so anything.
What
would
I would
go bad.
actually do is have like a zookeeper place them in the exhibit, and then just assign them to that exhibit. That would actually,
Yeah, but even then, like they would still like there's a zookeeper Fred can't reach large poop. You know, you still get
who
that.
cares? Let it go into the ground and fertilize the soil.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen. It just sits there.
Yeah, and they got sick, didn't they?
Yeah, or the animals could get sick, or they just got pissed off because the exhibit's too dirty.
That's why I had so many
You get
zookeepers.
sick,
I never
you
had an
have a
issue
sick-
because I had so
Yeah, but
many
you're
staff.
but not
all
what
over the-
but that doesn't like work when you're doing like campaigns and stuff because you have a limited amount of money. You can't just
Yeah,
like have like
I always-
100 zookeepers.
No,
Yeah, I always
in the
played
campaign.
freeform because
No,
I could
those campaign
never.
and challenges that you have money.
Yeah, you
Which is
can.
actually I have another idea that they could do for like freeform is the ability to toggle whether or not you have unlimited money or not because you know
Yeah.
that would be
'Cause
so
it's-
interesting because sometimes I want to play more of like a business instead of like a wildlife. Okay, where like oh I don't care about the animals. Sometimes actually I want to play more on a business side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the thing that always irked me was, and this is why I
Yeah, you-
only would play freeform, is that you had a limited selection of
You
certain
had, like,
animals,
Challenge,
and then you
which
only had a
that was
certain
the-
number of each animal you could adopt. It sucked.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah, you
couldn't
had
ever
challenge.
sell animals to make a profit,
Yeah, that.
whereas
that
in the
was-
first Zoo Tycoon you could.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, like you could either adopt them out, or if the animal was extremely happy, you could release them into the wild. Which you got like you got the certificate. You released an animal to a wild. Ho ho
But
ho.
you never
but,
got
you know,
any money for it.
no, you just got
didn't
like
get any money in but you did like increase in fame, but
In the first game you got money, whereas the second one you didn't.
yeah, you got
It
like
was the first one was more business-like, I think, whereas the second one was more wildlife, and it was a bit more hippie-ish,
Yeah.
for lack of a better, more
and
animal
the,
rights. There we go. That's the best way I could.
oh that reminds me,
I
my
mean,
brother
I could see, having released to the wild programs even in
the Zoo
business
Tycoon.
no,
Wildlife-
because in
Wildlife Zoo or Wildlife Park 2, if you had the animals upset, hippie protesters would like flood your zoo. My brother, he got that, and he just stuck them all in the where the sharks were.
well, yeah, and that brings me to attention because Wildlife Park was kind of like the answer to like Zoo Tycoon in a way, but like it was a little bit more challenging and then again a little bit more limiting.
It had it explored, the weather system.
Yeah,
as I
it
think
had
we
the
were
weather
talking about
system.
earlier.
Yeah,
and which
which
is actually
we should probably. This is
the
probably
weather system were to be in place. They had like these heaters and coolers. Which I
yeah.
think that would be a bit more interesting.
Yeah, which we should probably segment into like things we would want to see in a Zoo Tycoon 3 or a Zoo Tycoon for the PC instead of the limiting version as Xbox or some of the flaws in the other
Yeah.
games. We were talking about like if you ever played the game Wild.
Better user interface.
Well, yeah, that.
user
But like
interface.
as talking about the weather thing, like in the game, what was it, the Wildlife Park?
J-Park had the real
Wildlife Park
bad
2 or
weather
Wildlife Zoo. They're
But,
the same
like,
game, just Wildlife Zoo was
Basically,
in the
in
US.
Zoo Tycoon 2, like if you've ever played it, like to pick a zoo, like it had a globe and you had to pick somewhere in the world.
And if
to
you
pick
spin
your
around,
exhibit.
people scream. It
You know,
was
that was more of an Easter egg. And like, I think I feel there was another game that did that. I'll probably think of it later. Was it? No, that wasn't Spore. You spun the galaxy and the pictures of the developers would pop up. But like,
Right, and it never happened for me.
but
you might be not fast enough or what? I don't know.
But like, okay, we were talking about this. Like, if I picked a zoo, if I wanted to build a zoo in like Africa, tropical or savanna Africa, it's obviously going to be hot. Now, I can't just in real life. If I wanted to have polar bears in Africa as an exhibit, you can't just put it there because it's going to be like sweating to death or like it's going to die because it's way too
Yeah.
hot. You'd have to have a specialized exhibit
Well,
in
the
order for it
Wildlife
to
Zoo,
live.
That is the system that they had. They
Exactly,
had temperature, weather
exactly.
system.
Like in Zoo Tycoon 2, I guess they were trying to make it more easier for kids and stuff.
Yeah,
but
'cause
like,
it was more of a kid's game.
yeah, and obviously
Just-
like the modders and stuff made it more difficult and more realistic. But like, I would want to see more of that sort of realism because unlike in real life, if I wanted to do that, if I wanted to build a zoo in Antarctica, I can't just have Komodo dragons and saltwater crocodiles just lying there. I have to build a specialized exhibit in order for them to thrive. Meaning I would need specialized heaters and a climate-based exhibit.
Although one of the things I thought of was, I don't know if any of you ever had the mods there that added like the taller walls and then the what do you call them? The elevated ramps of the
That came with endangered.
Elevated paths.
Yeah.
the elevated paths there that they had no walls on the side. And basically what this pack was, I want to say it was Aurora Designs that came up with this or something like that. No, Zeta
Uh,
Designs.
yeah,
I'm
Zeta.
sorry.
Yeah, Ruben
Uh,
and Sophie.
and it was like buildings, and you could make indoor buildings.
Oh right,
I
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
Oh,
The-
and yeah,
I
and
would kind of
town
like
by
to see
hacks that
something
Snowleo
like that.
made it a whole lot easier to make buildings.
Yes, yes. The Averys. You could actually kind of make.
Yeah, not just the Avery. Yeah, an Avery would be nice too,
Yeah, the
but like
Because
Avery
I found
fence,
like an
yeah,
Avery
have
fence you can
snow
make.
buildings and stuff. I mean, people do that. If you go look around TRT, it's all over the place what people do with they pass. I mean, I make bridges over dinosaur exhibits
Yeah,
where you can actually walk through and dinosaurs can walk under them.
yeah.
yeah. And like what I used to do was European. Is it European Expedition?
That was
Was that
one of that.
Europe-
There was Avis.
Yeah, it
There
was
was European
UXP, right?
Expedition. Yeah, European Expedition was made by Dinosaur Man.
UXP is User Made Expansion Pack, by the way. But it's UXP, right? I have the right acronym, right?
It's the right acronym, User Made Expansion Pack. That's the right one.
Okay. One of the fish that was in there that I used to always like to do that with indoor thing was there was a kind of cave fish. I don't remember what it was called now. It was like Ulm or something like that. But you know, it would live in caves, and I used to love to make an exhibit that was indoors, and then put the tank inside of it with like the walls going right up to the edge. And I do that with a couple different tanks, and you can
Yeah,
kind of go inside and look around.
Yeah, I did that once with Marine Mania, where I made a, I think it was like one of the Zeta Designs construction sets, and I made like an indoor aquarium. It had like dolphins, I had manatees, I had, rays and sharks and stuff. I had that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Right
well,
there.
if you want to make SeaWorld, they should have it more realistic where PETA comes in and protests for having orcas. That'd be a good expansion.
And then
Zoo Tycoon, PETA expansion.
Oh,
You have
actually-
protesters in front of your zoo.
I don't
Yeah, that
think
actually
they're
be.
gonna not Peter. I don't think they're gonna pull a My Little Pony and make it for adults. I think they're still gonna keep it for kids, but
Yeah,
maybe
obviously, I'm
have
just
some
joking.
toggleable options that you can enable like certain difficulties and stuff.
Well, we already kind of
More
talked about
realistic
like.
features for older players.
Well,
That
we
would
kind
be
of
interesting.
already talked about this before we were recording, like an
I
easy,
even
medium,
talked
and
about
hard
it with a
mode,
couple of my,
and like
friends.
customizable options before you start your zoo, like weather, for example. Do you want weather? Do you want natural disasters to happen, like
Yeah,
it happens
that
in
was
real
in,
life?
Wildlife
Droughts,
Zoo, they
tornadoes,
even had that.
hurricanes.
Yeah,
Wildlife
kind of
Zoo,
like what
they had
happens in
toggling,
Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
Yeah,
Park.
like every so often.
Wildlife Zoo, it had the toggleable stuff. Like, okay, you could toggle off where you had to deal with finances or whether animals can die or not. You could do that. I think it was only those two options, but
Yeah, but like as Nerd Guy was talking about, like in JPOC and even Wildlife Zoo or Wildlife Park, whatever, you could, there's weather.
Wildlife Zoo and Wildlife Park at the same page.
Yeah.
Wildlife Zoo's the U.S.
But there's weather.
Although
That's the
JPOG
point.
had more extreme weather because it was an island based.
Yeah, and you'd have like tropical storms and stuff like that, and
Oh,
tornadoes
you'd
and all
have
that.
even tornadoes coming through and just like
Wiping out.
crap
Well,
off
it would
yours.
kill all the small animals, that's for sure.
I want to say if it went directly over the larger ones, it would kill them too, wouldn't it?
No, not T-Rex or like Brachiosaurus, but
Oh,
it would take out like Dryosaurus or
Oh yeah.
Gallimimus,
I've seen that happen.
Styracosaurus, stuff like that, Albertosaurus, stuff like that. That would take out easily. But like bigger dinosaurs, the dinosaurs would be unfazed. They'd be like in the middle of a
Hold on.
tornado. It's like, this is a breeze.
One of the other things I had actually mentioned before the recording that was, going along with the whole weather thing, what if we have day and night cycles? And I know Zoo Tycoon 2 had
Yeah,
them,
okay.
kind of.
It's just kind of funny, but like those day and night cycles, but there's like you would have like guests that would stay there for weeks on end.
I know.
It was even the same
Like,
thing
go
with.
back to your home.
I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, it's might as well just call it
I've
Zoo
had
Resort.
guests
Just call
be
it
in
Zoo
my
Resort.
zoo for like 5 years in Zoo
Actually, that
Tycoon
might be
1,
interesting.
so.
Having kind of like, I mean,
Have
as
a-
a mod more of than actual in-game feature, because it'd probably be too much to add this in, but add like, because some real parks and stuff like SeaWorld, they have little resort areas.
Yeah, you
Maybe
should
having like a long-term stay feature.
have a hotel. You can build a
Yeah.
hotel.
I mean,
Yeah,
that'd
that'd be.
probably be more mod.
It would help it make the zoo make a little bit more sense instead of like people just watching animals like for 5 years straight and eating hot dogs. That's a bit unhealthy, okay? Granted, I like animals.
Yeah.
I like zoos as much as the next guy, but I'm not staying there for 5 years straight, okay? Even if
Yeah,
they have a
people
T-Rex
would
on
stay there
exhibit.
for
Okay.
months. But like one of the things I was thinking of was have like a day and night cycle, which would have two effects. One, you could choose your zoo's hours. So like if you wanted to stay open 24/7, it would cost you more because it would add like another feature, which would be possibly having like electricity costs, like an electricity bill.
Well, I think you
Which
still have to have electricity going for like,
yeah,
you still have like night staff, they could do okay, it'd be a lot better, okay. Let's
You have
say
to hire
Alliance
night
War
guards.
take off, you can
You have to hire
have
night guards.
vets
People will
in the
break
labs
into your
during the
zoo and
night
steal your animals.
instead of like during the day or something like that.
and like also with having the day versus night stuff, like have it open only during the day. You save on expenses, but you're not making as much money from guests because they're not there all the time. Whereas if you have it day and night, like you'd have to add some nocturnal animals because the diurnal animals would go to sleep. Is it diurnal or diurnal?
Darnell.
It's diurnal, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Darnell.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't with that weird accent thingy there. But it would add the thing where you'd have to keep your guests happy by actually having something that's awake, because that's something real zoos have is, like the National Zoo, they have the webcam stuff. I don't know if they still do that, but last time I was on their website, I used to watch the webcams a lot. And if you went on at night, very few animals would actually be moving.
Right.
I mean, not having webcams in the zoo, but it goes like, if you're gonna have a nighttime thing, you'd
You
have to
pervert,
have
you were
nocturnal
watching animals while they were trying to sleep.
I'd primarily go watch like the pandas and the fish, because they were probably the most active on there.
But
Lions are actually active during the night as well.
another thing that they should that would be might be a good idea. Like a lot of games, you can choose like how fast time goes by. Like in SimCity, for example, you can have it.
SimCity,
Yeah,
Sim.
a lot of games have that. That might be useful to have.
That'd actually be a good one.
Instead of just sitting there waiting.
Even Wild
for the
Zoo
day to
actually
go
had
by.
the
If you're
time
waiting
where
for an
you
event
could
to
go
happen.
super fast. Like
Yeah.
when I had an older computer, it was like really crap, and the Wildlife Zoo would run so slow, so I had it on speed 3 so that the animals would animate correctly.
Yeah, and another thing, which Game Dev Tycoon has, like in Zoo Tycoon 2, like if you did like the zoo for like you got like every month you got like a mission or whatever, and like your fame would go up based on that. Like you could
challenge mode.
yeah,
you
like
had,
and, like if you got like X amount of donations, we'll give you a free animal. Plus, like more people would come to your zoo or whatever. But like you could still have that, but like in Game Dev Tycoon, like and it's more realistic for companies anyway. Like you could buy like if you want to market your zoo, like you could buy X amount of things to have billboards set up. You could have X amount of things to have be in magazines. You could pay X amount.
Zoo games like the
Was
like
it the
DS Zoo
Xbox
too.
version that actually incorporated that?
Did it? I don't know.
The DS one, the Zoo Tycoon 2
Did it?
DS one did.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the Xbox incorporated that too, and I always spent money on. Yeah, the
Because
Xbox.
because that's more realistic
Xbox
instead
and
of
DS.
Yeah.
you actually have like advertisements instead of your zoo did something excellent, amazing.
Yeah.
Granted, you could still
And-
have that,
and,
but
Maybe they had it slightly.
It would also help you decide like how if you want your zoo to be popular or not, because sometimes I have family friends that actually own a small zoo back up in Western Mass. Lupa Zoo, by the way, check it out. Can you post? I'll send you a link. Can you post in the description?
self-advertisement, buddy. I'm just kidding. But,
No. It's not self-advertised, but it's in Western Mass,
family advertising.
and it's
completely
not
different
all
things.
that
Keep your
big.
heads
But
straight.
I used to replicate it a lot in Zoo Tycoon, and that would obviously require not having that many people. So
yeah, if you want to, you'd have to replicate the Franklin Park Zoo if you want to do that. That's actually a relatively big zoo, and I think actually the Menden Zoo is actually even bigger. Let's see. Back into the subject of Zoo Tycoon. There should be, you could actually another option. I think you could choose the size of your zoo. You can make it as
yeah, kind of like
Actually, when I was a whole lot younger, I used to actually been thinking about making my own Zoo Tycoon clone when I was a lot younger. And one of them
Yeah, I used
was
to do
design
that
was like telling about how big you want your zoo, like how many like tiles or something like that. That's how I came up with it when I was younger.
maybe a bit more randomized too, because after
Yeah.
a while, the base
Um,
zoos always got
yeah.
bored.
They were always a square or a rectangle.
square.
Well,
they're all
not only
square.
that, but it was always the same map. The trees are in the same place.
Yeah. Well, that's what I liked about Zoo Tycoon 1 is that they had a lot of creative options to use for like different zoos you wanted to make.
Yeah, and like not
Like
every
they had,
map
I
is
always
the
liked
same.
using that Mars one and pretending like like we finally colonized Mars, we made it like livable, like and you're building a zoo. That was fun.
Yeah, there was also there was also a moon one that I remember.
Yeah. There was a lot of creative ones. That was fun. That was fun.
I always used the kids one because it unlocked everything immediately.
Well, you don't know about the Shift 4 cheat? I used to do that at the beginning of
What?
every zoo.
Yeah, there was shift F. It was a shift 4, and
You could just give yourself money.
Oh,
You do it,
no,
but
you
not
do
the
it right
money.
at the beginning
I didn't
before
care
you
about the
build
money.
anything.
I cared about having all the animals unlocked.
Yeah, but that zoo was small though.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a
and like
medium zoo.
for some
also in the
reason
past,
like
there's also Dino Large, with it had like $200 billion, dollars on it. It was
Yeah.
like for just Dino Large. I remember
Yeah.
finding it. I was like,
Yeah.
used it all the
Yeah.
time.
yeah, but for the kids map, like I don't know for whatever reason, like that map used to always crash on me. Like not all the time, but like at some points, like like before I knew about the Shift 4 thing, I used to pick that map, just delete everything that was already there, sell everything, and then for some reason it would crash afterwards. I don't know why, but like that would happen.
Maybe it's just your computer didn't like it.
I don't know.
'Cause I never had an issue with it personally.
Neither have I.
Hmm.
But then I never really deleted the tiger, the polar bear, the shark, and the dolphin.
I used to just delete
I never
everything.
really deleted them either. I just kind of use them like, hey, I got a head start. Ha ha ha.
No, because I used to like use that to build like my own zoo. Like get rid of your shit. I want to do my own thing.
I'd keep them and I would just customize everything for the most part. Like for those, I'd keep them, but I'd just kind of customize them a little bit.
Yeah, that actually be a good idea that they ought to bring back is like on the buildings have like custom colors or something. Do like
Yeah. The thing I kind of miss, like I liked about like the first one, is like the different houses, like the crustacean house, the reptile house. I like those buildings, and they they kind of had them in the second one, but they were these dinky little, buildings.
They always kind of bland. Like the other ones, they had a lot of detail put into them.
Yeah, because like a lot of zoos, like a lot of the big zoos, they have like entire wings dedicated to like the reptile house or the bird aviary
I actually
thing.
was trying to build one in one of my own zoos, but I just stopped on it because it got lagged out.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what house you. I thought you meaning like the sleeping quarter housing. I thought that's what you meant. No, you mean like the reptile house, the aquarium. The
Yeah,
shark
those big,
tunnel.
those are
I
relatively
kinda like
large
those.
buildings. Those are relatively.
If they added a tunnel to go in tanks.
Well, they had that shark tunnel in the first one that you could buy.
Well, like
It wasn't like really a thing you
build. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit like Ripley's aquarium down in Gatlinburg. They have like where you can like go on like this conveyor belt thing. You see at like airports and stuff.
A lot
like,
of aquariums have that, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's Ripley. I was only been in Ripley's aquarium, but that's pretty much what you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
like Atlanta actually has a really nice. I mean, I know this is kind of, but Atlanta has a nice one with what is it? Shoot, I know what the animal is. Whale sharks. That's right. Their whale shark exhibit has.
Well, the thing is, with whale sharks compared to other ones, they don't eat people. So, even if they somehow like the exhibit exploded and like the shark were to get out, granted it can't walk anywhere, but like it's not going to eat anyone or like kill anyone unless it like lands on someone.
Well, I was just saying that one was actually pretty nice compared to some of the other ones that I've been in, because there was. I mean, because how many times you actually see something that much larger than you just swim overhead and just kind of get that sense of awe.
Yeah.
But going back to Zoo Tycoon.
Another thing I would actually think about a good idea I just came up is put instinct animals. Your dinosaur goes nuts. You're supposed to go and tranquilize it.
Oh yeah, the rampaging thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring that into the original zoo. Bring it into the PC.
Yeah, because other animals get out of control. It isn't just dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Granted,
The reason why they added dinosaurs because that would be a little bit more extreme.
Dilo.
So, anyways, what have you all talked about so far?
Well, we've got.
We got distracted with the Atlanta Aquarium and like real zoos, but
Yeah, we're just talking about like things we would like to see in the new Zoo Tycoon, like things we'd like,
Dinosaurs.
things that the other games did well that we would like to see, as well as new things that
Yeah,
you
one
know.
of them
Dinosaurs,
talk-
the end.
Well, yeah, but like what Dinochris was talking about was like in the Extinct expansion pack, you'd have like if a dinosaur would go nuts, you'd have to tranquilize it. How about in like the base game, you have to do that with normal animals, because animals
Yeah.
do get out of control at sometimes. But
and then one that we were talking about was weather systems.
I would like a little bit more realistic hunting too, by the way.
first of all, the game's meant for kids, and I'm sure like you don't really want.
Hunting?
Son of a bitch!
Sorry, that's for J-Pog. Where you can go and shoot the dinosaurs.
Well, JPOG makes more sense because, like, if first of all, the animals are a lot more violent. You actually see people die. The only animal that would actually kill anyone in ZT1 was the T-Rex. That was it.
T-Rex, Allosaur,
Oh yeah.
squid, sharks,
All the large ones,
lions.
Spinosaurus, Allosaurus, they
Oh.
would kill people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
all the large ones.
Velociraptors,
lions, tigers, bears.
All,
They
pretty much
kill.
all the
No,
carnivorous
no.
dinosaurs.
The lions. I don't remember the lions or bears actually killing anyone. They would
No,
like.
no,
Oh,
all the
also the
carnivorous
crocodiles. I
dinosaurs,
remember
I said.
doing that because in that one tutorial where they like tell you to delete an exhibit, I went and delete not only the tiger but every single exhibit. And I saw the crocodiles eating the guest in Zoo Tycoon 1.
That's interesting.
Actually,
Also-
yeah, all the animals ate guests. All the carnivorous animals ate guests in. The
Some of
first-
them just threw them back on the ground.
Yeah, like I remember like the
Yeah.
lion would like shake them about and then just drop them.
Yeah, most big cats did that.
I know with the
Uh,
crocodile, I thought they ate him.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
Z-
All the animals would attack guests. Only the
ZT1
dinosaurs.
was sexist. They'd only ate men, for some reason.
No, that
I
was
think
not.
it was the
in,
lions,
that
wasn't
was
it?
that was in Zoo Tycoon 2, not in Zoo Tycoon 1.
Yeah, that's right. With
Zoo-
Dino Danger
you
Pack,
couldn't really
only
tell.
Tyrannosaurus would only eat men. Kids and women.
In
were fine.
most of the Zoo Tycoon games, they would only attack male adults.
The game's sexist.
No, in Zoo Tycoon 1, that wasn't there because you can't really tell if there's a guy or a gal in Zoo Tycoon 1. Is
Yeah,
that
but
pixelated?
you can kind of tell.
Sprites
What's with
were
all the
kind
kids
of
walking
different.
alone, by the way?
Yeah, like the kids would just waltz in like nobody's business,
Yes,
I'll
more
be back in
family.
5
please.
years.
Yeah, I think you should have like more family groups.
Realistic families, please.
Well,
Family
well,
groups or-
again, a real family's gonna spend what, maybe 3 hours at a zoo at max. They're not gonna spend 5 weeks at a zoo,
Yeah.
okay? Like in like the other games, okay?
5 years.
Like the same people will be there, and it'll be like 10 months since I originally opened the zoo. Like, come on,
5 years.
get out.
I had it at 5 years.
Like, that's unhealthy. All you're doing is looking at animals and eating hot dogs all day. Come on, that's not healthy.
Where do they get all this money that they can spend doing this?
All these millionaires.
All the
And they
ATMs.
only show up with like $500. Where do you get $500 for a zoo? Now I think about it.
Where do you just keep coming up with $500? Are they just taking out loans?
ATMs.
Are we opening up banks
Zoo
in the zoo?
loans.
Zoo
You're
loans.
taking
Yeah.
out loans to look at a zoo.
Yeah. You might as
I
well
mean,
just.
thank
You
you.
might
I appreciate the fact you like my zoo that much, but God,
you might as well just put housing in like a little town in your zoo.
Can't buy you.
It's
make
Sim
it
City
a Sim
plus zoo.
City thing.
Wait. What if they actually make a resort part too?
Well, we were kind of talking about
Yeah,
having
we
like a
actually kind of
hotel.
already mentioned that, to be honest.
Yeah,
Have a
like, we could build
hotel.
hotels and stuff. Yeah, that one I think we did mention where you can like place like a hotel. And you can, like,
Making prehistoric resort all the
Yeah.
time.
And it'd be interesting, actually.
I think if
it'd
the
be more of
dinosaurs, the marine
mods.
animals, they'd
I
be
think
an
that would be something
expansion.
mods more of, because I don't really see it becoming a feature.
Zoozorts.
Zoo
No, I
resort.
can actually see where hotels can become a feature. Like you place it, and then the guests, okay,
Uh.
at night they can go over there, and then like you can extend it up. Like, okay, so much
Because
money
the
you can
thing we still
extend
gotta
it. How's
remember is it is a game that's primarily been marketed to kids,
right, but
and you
Yeah.
gotta remember what are kids gonna want? They're not
the
gonna
animals.
really want a resort.
Advocate.
That's something more adults would want.
Yeah, but the thing is, like as I mentioned, like you could have customizable options, like
Yeah,
that
but
exactly color.
You
was-
also got to
And different
You
modes.
can add all these things, but developers are only going to have limited amount of time before anything really kind of like DayZ. That's been following out. Like, I don't know that many people actually play it anymore because they've taken too long with everything. And it's kind of the same thing for this. If they take too long, they're gonna suffer.
Well, that's the whole point of expansion packs are for, buddy.
And then you also got to remember money. Is that
It
even-
depends. Again, it depends on how much people want it. If people are they're actually considering people. They're reading the comments. So
Yeah.
people are suggesting
They
a whole
said
bunch
that
of
they're
things.
reading every single response.
So
who's behind this one, by the way?
actually, wait, what do you mean?
Like, I didn't see where they said they were reading people's responses. Where was that?
I remember.
It was earlier on.
Yeah, someone
Oh.
like the Zoo Tycoon, whoever is representing them, said that. I don't know. I forget.
Oh,
which
they
part.
actually joined one of the fan sites?
No. Like
They're not
I'm
fancy,
looking.
it's Facebook.
The Facebook thing where it says like more comments. Like they respond to someone. We're trying to look at every comment.
Really?
Doesn't necessarily mean we're responding to them, but like it means like. But they also, I'm looking at it now. Someone asked about like removing like the to remove zoo limits. They said their response is this is actually a hard technical limit, and the zoo size limit can't be expanded. I don't know what they mean by that. I mean,
I think the zoo limits they're talking about is like, okay, you can only have like 30 animals, you can only have 10 exhibits. Somehow with the DSs and the
Oh, in
Xbox game
Xbox?
is. Yeah, the DS and Xbox, you had limits. Like, you can only have so many animals. You can have only so many exhibits. You can only have so many of that.
Yeah, that's why I hated the Xbox version personally.
I mean, I feel like I mean, if Minecraft can have infinite room, granted, I think that's more ridiculous for a Zoo Tycoon game. I think they could probably pull it off for a PC Zoo Tycoon game. To have
Yeah, they
like,
could probably
a good amount of room.
do what they did with Zoo Tycoon. Okay, you maybe only have like, only like, this so many square tiles to build, but you're not limited to, you can have 5 billion T-Rexes.
Yeah. Well, granted, like some animals require
You're
it to
only
be like.
limited by your computer.
Yeah.
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 But let's see. Like as we were also talking about, like where we're talking about having weather, having it rain, having it,
Also, the location of your zoo controls what you need and stuff.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
if like in Zoo Tycoon, like as I've already mentioned to these guys, if I pick a zoo in Antarctica, I can't have like saltwater crocodiles just sitting there. Okay.
Yeah, you
That
need
doesn't-
to add
that-
stuff for them to be able to survive.
Yeah.
A
Exactly.
bit like in Wildlife Zoo, where you have to have like heaters or coolers and stuff.
yeah.
Although
which-
again, with something like that, I don't really see it being implemented because again, they're going to be marketing more for kids.
again, like I
True.
feel like there should.
But that could be also put in for like a higher difficulty, for example.
Or
you
a
could have
different
it-
mode. A different
I mean,
mode.
like mode. Like, okay, you have campaign challenge in freeform. You have campaign challenge kids, and then tycoon or something like that.
Yeah.
The
They-
tycoon to have the weather effect and all that stuff.
like have a beginner mode, intermediate, expert mode, tycoon, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like each one has like
And
their
as
own
a-
special things that go with
As
them.
a tycoon game, I think it should be marketed more for like teens and adults, but we also know it's been
I think
marketed more
there-
for
I
Because
mean-
markets and
I-
economy and having
I
to
feel-
manage your
Yeah,
account.
that's
why- But I also
that's-
feel like
That's
they're
why
also
I
gonna
like
consider.
tycoon, because I want to play a bit more of like a business aspect.
Yeah,
trying to
but
make profit.
I mean, you're right, Nerd Guy. They're probably gonna market it more towards kids, but I feel they would also consider that there is a following of people who grew up with the game, meaning
Yeah,
our
there's
our
a-
group.
There's
So
like
they
a
are
good
gonna
Another
consider
majority
that.
of it.
decade's worth.
Yeah, that has already been.
But like what I'm saying is, it's the developers can want to, add as much as they really want. It's just who's actually behind the funding because that's what like a lot of games.
Well,
Good
again,
things get cut because someone decides, okay, I don't think this is going to earn us enough money.
well, that's why
That's
they're
a
asking
common
if anyone
problem I
would.
hear from development studios, especially AAA studios. So if it's a smaller developer, we might get more. Whereas if it's a larger one,
Well, I think
probably
that's
wouldn't
why they're
get-
asking if anyone's interested,
And they're
I think
asking
this
what kind of people would be interested in.
and also,
People are suggesting stuff.
also, you
Yeah.
know, if ZTV actually knows about this poll.
I don't know, but I did end up posting it on the round table, so
Okay, should I?
we got
Put it over
most
at
of that
ZTV.
big chunk that's left of the community looking.
Oh, well,
hopefully.
I'll. You know what? I'm gonna
Here.
post the link into Zoo Tycoon right now in the Zoo Tycoon
Okay.
2 general discussion. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to copy it and post it over at my site. At think we tossed around was the idea of, okay, in Wildlife Zoo or Wildlife Park 2, whatever you want to call it, you have the options to, like, okay, you can make it where you have to deal with finances or your animals could die. That actually be a bit of more idea because, sometimes I want to play Zoo Tycoon more of a business, and I think some more people would. Zoo Tycoon 2, the only way you could do a more business aspect would be challenge mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that one, sucked. You had objectives that kept annoying you. You could only adopt certain animals, and you can't have a T-Rex right off.
Right.
Yeah.
But one idea is like, okay, you could have, freeform, but you had to deal with finances, like in Zoo Tycoon 1, where, I was playing it. I actually got back to playing it because of some guy I like to watch lazy game reviews. He did a review on it. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go play that again. And of course, I've been playing more of like business aspect. That I actually found was a lot challenging. I mean, I'm not building exhibits right off the bat. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till I get so much, then I'm going to build. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait and stuff. So that actually be a bit more of an interesting idea to put back into Zoo Tycoon. We have to deal with businesses, and yet you're not limited by the adoption system and the challenge mode.
Of course, Nerd Guy's not back yet, but I feel like they should have a better variety of animals. Like I feel I feel the original Zoo Tycoon had a much better selection compared to the second one.
And
They had in the
And
Xbox,
this
they didn't
Xbox
pretty much
One
have
had only like a
retextures
few
of-
with
of
variation.
Like obviously the base game, you're gonna get the basic animals: lions, tigers, elephants. The same.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my.
Yeah, and then you come up with the expansions, endangered species, all like the more notable endangered ones.
Endangered species.
Then
and
you get your extinct
African
animals, which is your
Think
mammals and your dinosaurs that are extinct, and maybe we can hope for things that were before the dinosaurs. This
Well,
time.
yeah, I think the thing is that I think obviously dinosaurs are going to be their main thing because most people, like your average person, knows more about dinosaurs as extinct animals compared to anything else. However, you're right. I would like to see things from the Carboniferous era or the
I
Permian
would
era.
like to make a giant trilobite touch pool.
I would like to see have an arthropluera. Okay,
Arthropleura.
whatever. I'd love to have like Gorgonopsid and
Yeah.
and other animals like that. And I'd also like them to be realistic size compared to Zoo Tycoon 2's small ass T-Rexes.
I mean, that actually been
That and
fixed.
put actual feathers on them,
Yeah.
like legit realism feathers.
Yeah, like all the animals, all the extinct animals, like the dinosaurs anyway, were really small, I feel.
Animals were kind of terrible.
Yeah.
And that's what the modding community is for.
Yeah, I know that, but like they should try harder. Granted, I know they're doing it for kids, but
That does not mean they can't have feathers.
it doesn't mean you can't like put some realism into it, buddy.
No, you can't.
No, not allowed.
Okay.
What are we discussing?
Well, there, guy. Actually, I brought up the idea. Spore with its galactic adventures. You can make an adventure and upload it, and people can download and play it. Have like a bit of that idea for zoos, where you make a zoo and you
share
can
zoo.
upload
Yeah,
it
that's
for
been an
people.
idea that's been out on the table for a
Or-
while. People suggesting.
For extinct animals, I know Dilo will know what I'm talking about. Similar to Dino Island, you can combine animals and make your
Oh
own.
god.
That would be another thing I think would probably be better if someone can do it as a mod.
I don't
that-
think that.
Hey, guys,
That would be like a
shush real
user
quick.
made expansion.
Guys,
What was that?
some
What
Lego
was-
Oh.
pieces,
Yeah,
Lego
it'll
sound
make it
boxes.
meaning call. It's
Yeah,
Dallas.
I mean, I would love to be able to mutate the dinosaurs like in Dino Island because that's all that the game was really good for. To
Yeah.
be honest.
Okay, Zoo Tycoon's guest AI was terrible, but that game, those guests, they looked like they all had like every single like physical disease imaginable. Okay. Okay.
And the dinosaurs are so stupid.
Well,
but
again,
it was-
again, it's a kids game, more of a kids game than
The
Zoo
only good thing
Tycoon.
I ever saw from Dino Island was those funny videos they had. With the pig fighting in the T-Rex's
Yeah.
mouth.
And then like
yeah, actually, those were pretty good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
But like the best thing that come out of it was the thing where you could combine dinosaurs, which I feel like as a person that likes like making their own things, like with Legos or Minecraft or whatever, I think it would be an interesting thing, especially for kids, to be able to like kind of make their own animals. Granted, you're gonna get like the parents involved. Oh my God, they're making their own animals. They're spawns of Satan, or something like that. But like,
No, you get like rescue.
Well, remember you could
Wow.
irradiate. So remember you could irradiate in No Island. So
no, I used to like. Okay, what I would do is I would make a clone. Like, I'd buy two of the same dinosaurs, make a clone of it. It would be cheaper than like buying another version of that animal. So I'd just have a bunch of like cheaper clones, and thus it would like cut my costs. So that was fun.
So you just splice the same dinosaur
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
so you pulled a Jurassic Park.
Pretty much, and it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I spared no expense.
Except
Actually, no.
there.
Yeah, I spared an expense there. But I mean, hey, it's not like the animals could breed, okay?
Seeing as we're getting on kind of the subject of dinosaurs and stuff, I think this would be a good time to announce what we're going to be doing this month. And
Oh yes, we're having a dinosaur-based month due to the fact that Jurassic June because of Jurassic World coming out. So.
and also
On the 12th.
Yeah, I have planned. I don't know if I can go see it when it first comes out, but I'm gonna try for at least that week or the next week, and I'm gonna go ahead and do like a little review.
I will be up in Maine
video.
when it comes out. We'll have a discussion about it, obviously, once everyone sees it.
I know there's that.
But like I've written a couple of reviews for stuff before, like Stephen King's Cell was probably what people have told me is one of my best reviews. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one for Jurassic World when I see it.
I kind of want to see it several times because I know the first time I'm going to be more of like it's the initial stage.
Yeah.
You're not going to really notice much until
Yeah,
you
you're
see
gonna
it.
be drilling
Nostalgia land.
Actually, I tend to notice more the first time. I
Really?
overlook stuff afterwards. Yeah.
I always notice more after.
Me and
I've seen
Aiden
it.
noticed more when we watched
Like-
the re-release of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, there's tons of mistakes.
Hold on real quick, food.
Like the biggest mistake with Jurassic Park, like for me, like okay, remember the T-Rex scene? It magically becomes a cliff when they're falling. Like it wasn't a cliff.
I know that.
That was like the
But did you-
biggest. Like what?
There were so many everywhere though. Like when the lawyer runs into the bathroom, did you notice the little? I don't know how I spotted this, but the little thing, the toilet roll, it turned from
Oh.
horizontal to vertical.
No, but like the car distances also changed. Like when the T-Rex was moving around, like the cars were in different spots.
The T-Rex
Yeah,
magically
there was a
moved
number of
back.
things that.
As
were-
well as like also in that in between scenes, like okay, when the lawyer like goes to the bathroom, the door was open. When you see the T-Rex run in front of Ian Malcolm's and Dr. Grant's car, the door is closed. But when the T-Rex goes to check out the car where the kids are in, the door is open, and that's where he pulls it closed.
He's
So-
opening and closing.
Yeah,
to see what's going
especially
on.
that scene right
And
there.
also,
there was a lot of issues.
When the raptor, you can barely notice it, but apparently someone pointed this out to me, and it's true. Okay, when the raptor first walks into the kitchen, you can actually see a hand pushing on the back of the tail of the raptor.
I've heard of that one. I haven't actually.
Yeah.
s-
You have to look really close. You can actually see a hand. So, that's a thing. Granted, I still love Jurassic Park for what it's worth, but I mean,
Trixie's wanting to be in the recording, but Cat.
That was something I used to do. That was kind of why I always wanted a bigger map. And then when they finally modded that in, I was like, oh, thank God. But, it was actually kind of too big by that point to make it anymore. Because the brush size was way too small. Like the tool there,
yeah.
that was way too small.
You just aren't determined enough.
No, even with
Then
the
I
normal
got a bigger
size.
brush mod.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there is a brush
Uh-huh.
mod.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I think so. I think even the combi patch, it has the bigger brush,
Yeah.
one that Snowleo made.
Yeah.
And a zoom out mod.
I know that was in it. It was supposedly
Yeah,
elevate
'cause-
path.
Another thing I'd like to see, actually, how the dinosaurs or any animal really couldn't they could break through some fences, but they can never break the zoo wall. They can
Yeah.
break the zoo wall. Oh, your animal escaped into the city. Your zoo dropped in fame. You're
Yeah, a
being
bit like
sued.
That'd be an
Dino
interesting
Park
thing.
Tycoon it's an old DOS game. And like sometimes the dinosaurs would break out of the fences.
Your animal escaped the zoo.
Yeah, and then it actually gets an auction and you have like a chance to buy it back in the auction. And it was an old DOS game.
Another thing that would actually make it more.
The original, well, not the Zoo Tycoon 2. If the animals went outside the park, I remember they actually could leave.
Yeah, they
Yeah, they
just
did.
walk through the entrance. Yeah, I saw a Triceratops do that one time. I like placed Triceratops without putting a fence over the front. I was like, oh, they're gonna stay in there, be like a, I don't know, like,
Nope.
no.
I'm just gonna walk out and
Radar
leave.
or-
See ya, buddy. I'm going to SeaWorld.
they just walked out like through the front gate. I don't know how a guy trailed through it.
But
It was just
another thing, well, because a lot of zoos they have programs like they exchange animals. So like another, so like there could be like a zoo exchange marketplace where there'll be like exclusive animals instead of just like buying them, and you can like for X amount of months I'll trade you these flamingos for those koala bears.
they somewhat do that with the community, though it's more like text based. And like the stuff they do with TRT, Gaia. But they also do that in the challenge mode.
Yeah, there was
well.
a challenge mode for that, but like I feel like there should be like a marketplace where you can have like more customizable
in
deals
the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that'd
could-
be
you could-
interesting.
And no, you could actually do that with a sort of a multiplayer thing, like.
That'd
Yeah,
actually
That would be beautiful.
Like okay, so like let's me say Dilo has his own zoo, I have my own zoo. I send him a message, hey, I have a bunch of koala bears. Want to trade them for your panda bears? And Dilo just goes no, and just leaves. But
that actually would be a bit of a interesting idea,
Yeah.
since the community has been doing something pretty
That'd be-
similar over like Gaia and
no,
TRT.
that would be interesting having more of a multiplayer interface where like zoos could communicate with each other, exchange things, funds, or whatever.
Cooperative builds. I tried that once with one of my friends where we like properly built some. Like, okay, I work on. He makes like a turtle exhibit, then I make a Utah Raptor exhibit, and then it was actually a T-Rex exhibit.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, because you could do the. I mean, granted, it's a Microsoft Word thing, but like you could like instead of like working on the same paper, you can all work on the same zoo.
Yeah, that'd be.
That's something I know people have been wanting for a while, and I don't know if you could actually work on the same zoo, but at least being able to look at your friend's zoos would be interesting. Like go around.
You're able to explore them as a guest.
That's what I was talking about.
Similar, it's kind of like sort of like a Minecraft-y thing in a way.
Pay an entrance fee.
You pay an entrance
That's all you
fee.
had to do.
You pay Microsoft $5.
No, it'd be actually.
I know people that would actually just so they could explore each other's zoos that would actually pay for like a DLC thing or something to allow them to do that.
Yeah, but you know, because it's Microsoft, they would probably do something like that.
I think that feature would probably be more suited as a base game. It would actually have to be a base game implementation. And someone a lot harder.
Because like in the new
it's
Sims,
Microsoft though, they make you pay for the internet you already pay for.
Because in the new Sim City, actually, they kind of like for a while they actually only had multiplayer. People were complaining that there was no single player. But you could like create regions and stuff and do like a bunch of cool stuff with that. I mean, granted, it was only multiplayer, but I mean.
And I also heard the map size was stupidly small.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, granted, it was just cool stuff, but like like the other Sim cities.
Poorly.
Yeah, the other Sim cities were a lot better because their maps were a lot bigger.
Especially like I don't know, like 3,000. That was pretty.
That's
good.
why I heard. That's why City Skylines did so well, and I played City Skylines a little bit. It's actually
no,
I haven't.
It was released recently. That
I know you have it.
LGR's channel. He said this is how SimCity was supposed to be.
Yeah,
something.
It's because the thing is, all these companies are recreating like
it
a lot of these.
It wasn't like City Skylines, but it was something.
The thing is, SimCity is a classic game, and like EA kind of really they're trying to get more money out of it and putting less quality into it. I feel.
Yeah, I think that's what they did with
Sims. It's EA.
4.
What'd you expect?
I mean, I know that, but like SimCity is such a classic game, and I don't want like if they do come out with a Zoo Tycoon, if they do come out with another PC Zoo Tycoon, I really don't want them doing the same thing. Because I know it's Microsoft, and the greed thing is definitely there. They're not as bad as EA, but they definitely have a greedy tooth, if you know what I mean.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with, wanting to make money on a game. It's when you start cutting corners. I mean, you're gonna lose money doing that.
If I'm gonna pay
you want to put your full effort into it so you can get more money.
If I'm gonna pay
because like with Zoo Tycoon, I mean, there's still people that play it to this day.
Yeah, if I'm gonna pay for something, I want there to be quality, and I want there to be.
2 hours ago.
Exactly. Like, and definitely, and I know it's Microsoft, and I know how they have mixed feelings about modding, but like, what keeps this game alive is modding. So
Like their new IP.
the game
is
is
biggest
what?
fan is.
The game is what? Like 8 years old now?
Series is 10,
Yeah.
10, 11 years old, and their new IP that they bought, Minecraft. A big majority of fame came from modding.
Exactly.
And from YouTube videos. That's another thing they generally don't like.
Exactly. So like I hope.
Zoo Tycoon 2 itself is almost 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 11. Which I
Damn.
think if
It
Microsoft,
survived this long because of modding.
yeah.
And see that the only thing is, a lot of these big game companies, they really don't seem to get the effect that
I think you got Bethesda, you had like Giant
modding and
have
stuff does.
Steam.
Yeah. Modding keeps the thing alive, and not to mention it creates the
Well, I mean, you got
developers of
Bethesda,
tomorrow.
you got
A lot of these
Valve,
people
you
like
got
they want to do game
Giants.
design as a
I mean,
career.
What's a good game to bring up?
Skyrim.
Well, like, Mojang. If it wasn't for YouTubers and modders, it would never have grown to the size it is, and
Exactly. Well, the thing
we
is,
would never have heard
Actually-
of it. It would have died out.
well, the Notch always
It
felt.
was actually YouTube that brought me to Zoo Tycoon 2.
Well,
Not
Notch.
sure felt like.
Well, Notch was like he was really like kind of okay with like piracy and stuff like that, to the point where like he didn't care what people did with this game as long as you did like even if you didn't even buy it, like I didn't even buy Minecraft. I had a cracked version originally, and then I eventually bought it. So I mean,
Yeah, most people, I think, that were big fans of it, that's pretty much the system they did. That's how the game grew so fast.
Which I think is what Microsoft may have learned from
Now,
Mojang.
I can, and I don't really support doing that kind of
no,
stuff.
I don't. But I don't
Yeah,
support that. You know,
granted, I
but-
think
I mean,
Microsoft
like, the
ought
only
to.
time I'll let you
market
speak,
the
and then
game.
I'll put my 2 cents in.
Yeah, you're kind of
Yeah,
flowing
I
over
think
each other.
Microsoft still actually has to market the game, though. I mean, I don't think they're going to have to just rely on YouTube and modding. I think they also need to market the game because Spectrobes, it was a video game series that was done by Disney. It was like my favorite RPG when I was younger. The first 2 games that were marketed, and they did quite well in sales. And then the third one, which was on the Wii, they never marketed, and I only knew about it through like YouTube videos and stuff. And
Well, the thing is, Zoo Tycoon is a relatively large name, and it has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people. I would imagine they would market it in a way,
Right.
in a good way.
But since Disney failed to market the third game, the game series is now lost and hasn't had a new IP in 6 years.
Yeah.
Installment.
What was
But
I gonna say?
A cool thing that actually Microsoft or the new Zoo Tycoon did, I think like I forget exactly what it was, but they donated to like one of the animal organizations.
Yeah, I
The
have one of
World
those.
Wildlife
Yeah.
Fund.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the
Yeah,
details
and like
were of
it
that.
would say it on the case, like every time someone bought the game, they would donate to it.
No, it was actually on the website. I remember seeing that when I would like browse the website.
And that was actually kind of interesting thing, because and also, I mean, it still is at this point, but the big thing that was really starting to come around them was the whole conservation thing. So they kind of played on that marketing, which was really smart of them. But it also is reason why like we couldn't sell animals or stuff is because they went with that whole conservation thing
Well, the thing is, it
rather
kind
than
of
business, even though it's a tycoon game.
The thing is, though, they're trying to get a more, in a way, they were trying to go for a more realistic view, because I don't think zoos can just straight up sell animals, and if they can, they can't just sell them to straight up anybody. They have to go through a whole legal process, or they have to,
Sell them to another school.
Yeah, like I know.
Is where like the trading. I think,
Yeah, you trade animals and stuff like that for
I
like
think
they
it'd be
lease them.
interesting. You can do release to WoW, set up for adoption.
I mean, I know you can
and stuff
sell
like
them.
that.
Like I know. Near
Be
me
selling
is
or doing that
the-
trading system that we've suggested, where you might,
Yeah, the trading system might be an interesting thing, and be able to sell on that marketplace.
Well, even then, I would. It's not really selling. Like I know.
It kind of is because there's like
It's a trading system.
It's a lease. It's a more of a lease than anything because
well, it can
what
actually be permanent. It can
You
actually
can.
It can be
I
permanent.
know I know you can actually somewhat sell.
Like
the
I could,
animals
if I
because
owned a zoo, I couldn't like
in
sell you a black bear. That doesn't work that way. No.
wait, because in the Texas State Aquarium, which is in Corpus Christi, which is near me,
Mhm.
they recently had a thing where they used a new chemical that some other aquariums have used, and most of the other aquariums didn't have any issues. A couple had the same issue that ours did. What happened was they put the chemical in there to deal with this bacteria infection that was going to kill the animals anyway. What happened was, I think it was like 98% of all the fish, especially like in the bigger tanks, died.
Whoa.
Well, some of the animals were sold, some new animals were sold, some other ones were donated by other aquariums, but there were some that were sold. So I know you can sell them. It's just not like you would sell at a pet
Yeah.
store.
And
It's
That reminds
it
me of like
also
the
it de-
feature that they had in Spectrobes too. It was like with the Wi-Fi thing, you could like put up like a Spectrum up for like adoption, and then like someone could like buy it off for like some zenny, and you get like the
I think it
currency
also
of it. But
it also
No.
depends on the animal. Like I know all giant pandas I think are owned by China, like the government of China.
yeah,
I
think so.
think you're right.
Try
on that.
So like if I was a zoo and I had a giant panda for some reason, I couldn't just give it to some other zoo. I don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go for
Yeah.
a bit.
All right, see you, Dial.
So yeah,
Okay.
I think you're right on that. I mean, so there are limitations,
Yeah,
obviously.
I feel it also depends on like how endangered the animal is, how rare it is.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
might
like maybe
be
more
a
common animals.
Yeah, if it's like
you should be
deer
able to
or
actually
fish or
sell.
something, but yeah, like deer or fish. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
there was no
lions,
deer
lions,
in.
yeah.
I don't think there's really been any deer except for in user-made expansion packs.
Yeah.
Brush antler deer, extinct animals. That was a deer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
but
yeah.
it's extinct.
Like the thing is, like, for example, I live in New England. For all zoos that don't know, there's a zoo up in Maine called the York Zoo. They have like this pen where you can go in and actually
Yep.
like feed the deer. You can kind of
been
pet
there.
them and interact with them. And,
I've
yeah.
been there.
So that would be this. I feel like this that would be another thing. Is like of course it depends on the animal. There's like exhibits where like you can actually go up to the animal and interact with them. With like deer.
Petting zoo. Yeah, I remember. In Wildlife Zoo, they did that. And I've been to like petting zoos. Like there's one in like Gatlinburg. I've been
Yeah.
to.
Like
called
you
the
can
deer
go
farm.
in and pet them. Or you can also have like things like depending on the animal, like a riding thing. Like there's some zoos that you can ride like camels or elephants or
But
horses
like
or something.
they added the ability to ride dolphins and turtles and stuff yourself, but you never could actually offer it as.
Yeah. Well, you could
Part
have
of your
pony
zoo.
rides. You could have pony rides.
Yeah,
There's,
they
like,
had the Shetland
just-
pony ride. That was the only thing Zoo Tycoon 2 had.
which that'd be
And then like the
interesting.
first one had the camel and elephant rides. I don't think they had any other rides. Oh no, wait, they had the dolphin ride too.
Yeah, they had the dolphin ride. I remember doing the dolphin ride. I didn't know that there was a camel and elephant ride though in Zoo Tycoon 1.
Yeah, they were both buildings.
I didn't see him.
I know it was camel. I think it was elephant too.
Yeah, because I know again with the York Zoo, they used to have elephant riding, but they got rid of the elephants, as far as I know, and they're doing camel rides now.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of places are trying to get away from the rides too because animal rights groups have been
Yeah,
going against
especially
those.
mainly circuses because
Ooh,
of the
that'd
poor
actually be
treatment.
an interesting idea. If your zoo gets so popular, you can actually have. Well, this would be more of like tycoonist side. This is not going to be, the kid friendly. It's going to be tycoonist section. If they go for the, you got kids and you got tycoonist. For the tycoonist side, you could have like something like animal rights because you get so famous. Animal rights can go and try to slander your zoo, which I actually spoke
And
about with one of
maybe-
my friends.
I mean,
like,
this is
it's
kind of far-fetched, but
SeaWorld
maybe
of
even
Rockford.
have them to the point where animals can get seized if you don't treat them properly.
Yeah.
Now, I think that should be a disableable feature though for people like me who want to build wildlife zoos, or
Disabled
wildlife parks and
feature.
stuff.
Yeah, wildlife park mode. You have infinite money. You don't have any guests. You can just put whatever animals in and just watch what happens.
Well,
Like I said,
I used to have guests, and I just put like the
Like,
car rides and
they
stuff.
interact with like their own safety, something like that. Like in J-Pod, you have like safety, their own like version of that.
And guests need to stop getting mad over one animal eating another.
Yeah.
It's life.
Or
I mean,
there's no bench, even though there's one 2 feet away from you. There's no bench.
I
Yeah,
can't find
yeah,
trash
that was
can
pretty
yet.
stupid.
1, 2, 3 trash can.
Dimension.
No, I think we talked all we can about if they make a new Zoo Tycoon, all the ideas and things they should keep or change or whatnot. So
Although I don't remember if I
Yeah, like,
mentioned this
make it-
earlier. If I didn't, I'm going to keep an eye out. I don't know if I'm going to do it on my channel or on WCD, but I'm going
Because we
to
get a lot of traffic.
go watch Jurassic World, and I'm going to take some notes, and I'm going to write a little review on it if I can.
and then we'll
And-
obviously have a discussion once everyone, or majority of the people in the group have seen
And
it.
crap.
Actually, be more fitting.
I'll see
for
if
it.
We've been working on a website, by the way,
Yes,
and
making
I
the
might
Dinosaur
go ahead and
Let
start
Nerd-
working on it a little bit
Yeggs.
more.
Oh, wait. Dinochris, let Nerd talk. Nerd, go.
We've been working on a website a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can't get that up and running, because we got someone to do the base stuff. Now I think I'll be able to take it from here, hopefully. So I'll see if I can't get that up and running, so both we can share more stuff with you guys, including, since I don't know if you guys noticed, we've changed our name to WCD Productions because we were trying to get into.
Well, the thing is, we're not
More-
we're going into more machinimas and more acting stuff now, more so in the game. We're still doing gaming stuff, obviously, but if we're going to be doing more machinima stuff, we thought it'd be more appropriate to have more of a name that suits that.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're still gonna do gaming stuff. Don't worry.
That
but
oh yeah, I'll have plenty of that. That's going to be still majority of the stuff we do, but
we just wanted to do some more stuff on the side.
yeah. Anyway, I think that's it
So
for
yeah,
now.
I'll see if I can't get that up sometime soon. I don't have any estimate. I'll try to keep you guys updated, and I'll try to actually get something on my channel. I'm sure the other guys will as well, so we can actually have a little bit more stuff going.
Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed watching us talk about Zoo Tycoon. If you have any of your own opinions or suggestions about what you would like to see in Zoo Tycoon, definitely leave it in the description below. And hype for Jurassic World. All right, see you guys later.